Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. You are now listening to That Infernal Noise podcast, part of the Mental Health News Radio Network. Fuck yeah.
What up, y'all? It's been a couple of weeks. We took some time off. Life was lifing, as it were. We got our oldest daughter into college. Since we last recorded, we got our oldest daughter into college. The little two went back to school. I got a new job, and we've been cleaning out my mom's house. My sister, her family, me and my family. And Saturday was the last day that we cleaned. This past Saturday was the last day that we cleaned her house and got everything out. Put stuff into storage. Kids took some stuff. We took some stuff. Sis took some stuff. And it was tough. It wasn't tough in the moment. It was tough afterwards. You know, whenever you really sit down and have time to think about everything, really. It was not pleasant having the knowledge of what we were doing. And what I mean by that is that we were liquidating two people's entire lives. Because it wasn't just my mom's stuff. It was her husband's stuff. Jody. Paw, as the kids call him. And Mama. There's been a ton of shit that, like, the kids going through, you know, that I've been going through, that Sis, Niche, I'm sure Aaron and the kids, her kids, have been going through because of all of this. You know, it's almost 7 months. No, it's almost, Jesus, not almost 7 months, it's almost 9 months since we lost her. And it's gotten easier. I don't like saying that it's gotten easier, but it's gotten easier. But not at the same time. You know, my kids, my older two specifically, were not happy that we were having to basically get rid of Mama's house. Because the two of them, they grew up in it a little bit more than the younger two. I think Noe was disassociating the entire time and just kind of distancing themselves from their emotions, which I can't blame. Logan was holding all of it in, and he broke down on Thursday. He had a bad morning, and he forgot this, he forgot that, and then he just broke down, crying. And that's when it came out that he was having a hard time with going through all of Mama's things and changing her house so much. He doesn't like change any more than I do. Niche has her feelings about it, as she's entitled to. And she feels especially some kind of way because of Jody, specifically. Because all his stuff is just going away, you know, essentially. After a lifetime of shit, after all the people that loved him, you know, he's just kind of disappearing into the ether because he doesn't have, outside of us, he doesn't have like a bunch of family to keep his memory alive. He's got a bunch of friends that I'm sure do. But it hit her specifically hard in that aspect. And then for me, in the moment, I deal with it fairly well. You know, I don't know if it's a push through kind of situation. It probably is. Where I just kind of grin and bear it until whatever's done is done. It sucks. It really sucks. The shit really hit me whenever I was journaling Saturday night. I had taken a microdose before we went over there. Just because I knew I needed something to take the edge off. Because I knew I couldn't function. And we got through the day. You know, rented the U-Haul, got all that stuff done. We came home and chilled with all 4 of our kids for once. Just kind of talking, doing nothing in particular. And ended up taking a shower to wash the day off of me and took an edible. Because that's what you do in those days. Or on those days, rather. And Niche took a shower, and that's when I started journaling. And I didn't know. I mean, I should have known that it was affecting me, but I didn't know that it was affecting me at the same time. You know, it's like I knew there was something, but I wasn't feeling it like actively in the forefront of my mind. It came out whenever I was journaling. And this is what I said, or this is what I wrote, rather, in my journal. Today we finished Mom's house, and there was a vibe. It has always been nice to spend... Excuse me. It has been nice to spend so much time with the kids and Sis and Aaron, but I just wish it was just us and not because of shit like that. It is at this point that I just kind of stopped and I started talking to Mom. I don't know why. I just did. I don't really know how to feel right now, Ma. On the one hand, I feel like I don't feel anything. On the other, this is fucked up. You should still be here, and we shouldn't have been packing up all your shit. We should have been celebrating Sis's birthday together, starting to plan for Thanksgiving and Christmas. I should have been aloof with you, and just kind of going through the motions because of all the bullshit that has happened, and still be angry with you on some level. I should be bitter because of your and Sis's relationship, and her being the favorite. We should still be grieving Grandma right now, and preparing for the 2nd anniversary, not still reeling from losing both of you a year apart. So much has changed since you left. It feels like an entire lifetime ago. I mean, I guess it is for you. We should be planning so much for Sis's kids. Going to soccer and t-ball games. We shouldn't have lost you so soon. You should be here for when Chris ends up telling all of us that he's going to have a kid. Or when Kay comes in and says she's getting married. The plays Noe will do. The performances Logan will have. And at that point, I started crying. Hard. And then two amazing things happened. My sister texted me. I had sent her something way earlier after we got done with everything. And she responded to me in that moment. I wish I was making it up, but she responded as this was happening, as I was writing this. And then, at the same time, Noe and Logan came into my room. Neither of them noticed I was crying. And I'm not saying that like, oh, they didn't even notice. I'm saying that like, I'm glad they didn't notice. So whenever they were talking to each other, I wiped the tears out of my eyes. And they started talking all manner of ridiculous shit. And just arguing playfully back and forth the entire time. Laughing like fuck. Making me fucking laugh harder than I've laughed in a long time. And that went on for 20, 30 minutes. And once it started calming down, I just got it. I understood what had happened. I understood that my mom was telling me not to be sad. My sister and I weren't having a funny conversation. It was serious. Sort of. Serious for us. But it wasn't bad. It was a good conversation. And then my kids, Jesus, like, everything's a performance and an exercise and comedic timing and all that stuff. Like, she sent Sis to respond to me and my kids to make me stop crying. And I know I say that ironically as I'm crying right now, but it's a good cry. Like, it makes me happy. And by and large, happy is not something I've been. There's glimpses and there's moments where I get really excited about stuff, but overall I hadn't been myself, I guess. Or what Niche calls myself. Whatever, I don't know. I just understood that somehow, some way, she's still watching after us. Man, it feels sort of bittersweet to say that because I lost my connection to everything. I grew up very religious whenever I was a kid. And I don't mean like I was just brought up in it. Yes, I was brought up in it, but I believed in it. Like, I felt it. I felt the connection to the other side because of it whenever I was a kid. Like, I felt the catharsis whenever I would go to confession. I felt the Spirit, whatever that means. Whether it be the Holy Spirit, whether it be the universe, whatever. I don't know. And I lost that whenever Mom passed. I had just been getting back to a good place after Grandma. And whenever Mom went, everything went. It's like I felt the emotions. I felt scared. I still feel scared on a regular basis. Because I don't know what's going to happen next. Death's always terrified me, but a little bit more so now that I'm having to come face to face with my own mortality. And every little thing that happens is this it? And not just for me, like, with everybody. And Saturday, whenever all that happened, was the first time that I felt something. Because as I was writing all of that, before they came in there, before Sis texted me, I could see her in my head. It's like she was there with me. And I think she was. I don't care how that sounds. I don't care how crazy that makes me look. She was there. I could feel her. She was showing me all of these things in my head. She was right there with me. And in true fashion for our family, I was too serious for too long, too sad for too long. And she made sure that I wasn't anymore. And I haven't been sad since then. I know I'm crying right now, but it was a fucking spiritual experience. And it's still so potent right now. It was a beautiful moment that I will probably remember for the rest of my life. I hope I remember for the rest of my life. Because my kids didn't know that I was crying, or that I was upset, or sad, or whatever. Sis didn't know. Hell, my wife didn't even know because she was in the shower whenever all this was going on. But Mom knew. And she showed me she knew. From the other side. This last little bit I wrote after all of that. Okay, I get it. You use my kids against me when I'm sad. And Sis. Did it have to be that ridiculous, though? I love you, Ma. I'm sorry you're not here. But I hope you aren't hurting anymore. Please, feel free to keep using Niche and the kids and Sis to pull me or keep me from my own bullshit. Today was a good day. And it was. And yesterday was a good day. And today's going to be a good day. Some days I wake up in such a funk. It's hard to get out of bed. But I don't give myself time to think about it. I just get up and I go through the motions occasionally. The past 2 weeks I haven't really had to because a new job and I'm getting used to that, so I have something to motivate me, I guess. And it sucks. It sucks to have to carry that every day, all day. But moments like Saturday, that's the shit that I live for. Because I have a high level of empathy. For some reason, I know when I need to text people. I know when I need to reach out. And very seldom does that get reciprocated. Except by a handful of people, i.e. my kids, my wife, my sister, my brother-in-law. He seems to know exactly when I need to hear certain things or whatever. Same with Sis. And it's just, I don't know what's on the other side. I'd like to think I do. At one time I could have told you for certain I knew. But with everything, the way it's happened, I'm so jaded. I don't know what to believe. I don't know how to believe. And slowly but surely I'm getting back to it. I feel this, it's like this connection is trying to reform. Since I'm a nerd, the best way I can explain it is like whenever Peter Parker's fighting off the symbiote initially, but it's still like creeping up. But I guess in reverse because it's a good thing. It's like I feel something trying to connect. It just hasn't lined up perfectly just yet. I don't know if it's going to be religion. Because I still have my hang-ups about certain things when it comes to that. But I know there's something. I'm not myopic enough to think that I'm an atheist, because I'm definitely not. I never really have been, if I really think about it. I'm definitely not a Satanist anymore. Because I believe in the good. Agnostic, I guess, would be the best way to describe it, because I know there's something else. I know there's some energy or power or the Christ spirit or whatever. And I feel it at times. And it seems to be the times when I need it the most that I feel it. And even if it is that, I don't want to put a name on it, because I feel like it does it a disservice. I feel like it just is. Whatever it is, it is. And I can't describe it. Nobody can. Because it's everything and nothing. How do you describe everything to nothing? How do you describe something that you can't quantify or see, but all you can do is feel it? You can't run scientific tests on feeling, on intuition. I feel like if we could, all the divisiveness about religion and all that stuff would go away. And I would thoroughly enjoy that, especially considering throughout history how many people have died for their beliefs while calling it different things. Sorry, I didn't mean for this to turn into theological debate. I know something is there. I know mom's there. I know grandma's there. I know Jody's fucked with us a couple of times. And whenever I was younger, stuff like that used to scare me. Like the other side and things that I saw and I experienced scared the shit out of me. But at 40, having lost my connection so many times in my 40 years, whenever stuff like that happens now, it's comforting. It is very comforting. Whenever you lose somebody, you don't know how to feel. I've run the gamut of emotions. As much as I hate to admit it, I've felt relief at times. I felt peace. I felt anger. I felt hatred. I felt sad. I felt happy. Happy for her. That she's not hurting anymore and she doesn't have to worry about all the day-to-day bullshit. None of this is easy. Losing a loved one at any point, no matter who it is. It sucks. But look for them and you'll find them. Or even if you're not looking, sometimes if you're desperate enough, you'll find them. Well, they'll find you, I guess. And nobody can have the experience that you have. Nobody might believe this experience you have, and that's fine. But if you believe that's what it is, that's what it is. And that's okay. It's just for you. You're not crazy. You're hurting. And you're looking for answers. And sometimes you get them from the people you need to get them from. However crazy that sounds is up to you. I personally choose to not have it be crazy because I don't feel crazy. I feel a lot more sane than I have in a long time. Yeah, I still have questions. Yeah, they may never be answered. But I don't need the answers. Not all of them. I just need to live my life and be happy. Because that's what Mom would want. It's what Jody would want. It's what Grandma would want. Not me stressing and being depressed because my kids will never get to see them or grow up with them the same way that I did or whatever. Take the time. Take whatever time you need whenever you lose somebody that is important to you. Because I lost my mind several times in the course of this. In the course of 2 years, almost 2 years, I've gone insane a couple of times. Because of all the questions. Because of all the what ifs. It made me miserable. It made me not me. Not who I want to be. But in a strange way, it also led me to being the person that I want to be. Because I saw who I was. And not even just in this 2 years, but in general. All of this has given me a lot of perspective. The legacy that I want to leave behind. What I want people to say about me whenever I'm gone. I don't want them to sugarcoat the bad, because the bad was there. But I want the good to outweigh it. And even recently, I haven't made the best decisions whenever it comes to certain things. But I believe that you can change it on a dime. Any given day, you can make a better decision. And that's what I'm trying to do. And I hope that's what everybody else is trying to do too. Because we don't know how long we have left on this bird. So we might as well try to make the most of it. Try to spread as much love and positivity and happiness as possible. Because ultimately, that's all that's going to be left. Everybody take care of yourselves. Tell the people you love them. Because that's going to be the shit that they remember.
Thank you for listening to this week's episode. If you like this episode or know someone who would, please help us grow the show by liking, subscribing, and sharing. Keep up with all episodes on Buzzsprout or anywhere else you get your podcasts.